chain costs more than the big chain. Big chain. Fuck with me, get it bad. Get it bad. Fuck with me, get it bad. Get it bad. Fuck with me, get it bad. Get it bad. Fuck with me, get it bad. Get it bad.
Week 2 recap. We in this building. Week 2, jumping right into it. Shout out to Steven, aka Sleaze, on winning the weekly high score for week 2. Congratulations to you, my man. That's a huge accomplishment. Then jumping over to the survivor pool, as this is a great indication of what I've been talking about for just the last 2 weeks. The way the survivor pool is set up is that you are, if you're already out, then you're out of it, right? So, for example, the lowest scoring team in the league yet again is Nestor. However, Nestor was out as of week 1. I know, no surprise there. So that means the second lowest scoring team is now out of it, which is my man B-Raw, who scored, Brian Rosenthal, who scored a 102.36. He is now knocked out of the pool. So now there's 10 of us left, essentially. Well, not essentially. There's 10 of us left. My condolences to Brian, my condolences to Nestor. Again, like I told him, in this league, I can't wait to see what he finishes off at. I did say, have a bet with him that he will finish below 500. And starting off 0-2, I'm almost there. But anyway, jumping off of that, jumping right into the recap. Let's start off with Steven's team. I mean, he was the weekly high score, so out of respect for that, let's jump right into it. Steven's team scored 177.62 against UG's 131.6. Looking at UG's team, a lot of piss poor performances. He has Saquon Barkley gave him 8.9, Antonio Gibson gave him 9.3, Jalen Water gave him 8.8, Dallas Goedert gave him 4.4, Myles Gaskin gave him 8.6. His defense gave him 3. Still put up 131, by the way. So shout outs to him, 131.6. He would have beat my ass. So shout outs to him, even though I'm just saying he didn't do much. He still did more than I did. Then looking at his bench, Michael Pittman gave him 20.3. He had Rondell Moore, who's going to be a big pickup in most leagues. He already has him, give him 24.4. And then that was really it. Moving over to Steven. Interestingly enough, the Giants defense gave him -1. And he still finished with a high score. So shout outs to him on that. How did he do it? Mahomes, 30.2. Eckler, 22.5. Chubb, 16.8. Marvin Jones, 7.5. Tyler Lockett, 31.8. Juju Smith-Schuster, 16.4. Courtland Sutton, 24.9. Kicker gave him 13. Nothing on his bench, really, at all. So shout outs to him on getting that accomplishment in terms of weekly high score. And getting on the winning streak now. So now he's like 1-0. UG falls to 0-2. Moving on, Derek falls to 0-2. Loses to Darian 123.8 to 172.86. Looking at Derek's team, he has Jalen Hurts at 21.8. He has Terry McLaurin giving 27.7. Devontae Adams giving 20.8. DJ Hopkins giving 15.4. But that was fucking... Everything else was single for him. Mike Ingram gave him 5. Cooks gave him 5.8. Devontae Smith gave him 3.6. His defense and kicker both gave him like 6 and a 5. On his bench, he does have Marquise Brown with a solid 23, but he made all the right starts, honestly. When you look at his flex positions, he had Scary Terry, Devontae Adams, DJ Hopkins, and Devontae Smith. So made all the right starts. Just unfortunately, these guys just didn't produce for him. Moving over to Darion. Yo, man, I played against somebody who had the same situation, Lamar Jackson and a Derrick Henry combo, and I almost lost in that league if not for Aaron Jones. So huge shout outs to Darion. Those two really clicked off. You had Lamar Jackson give him 34.26. Derrick Henry gave him 47.7. And then he had everybody else give him like double digits, so that was solid, kind of kept him going, except for his defense and his kicker, both give him 5. But again, nonetheless, really impressive for him. Looking at his bench, nothing really in his way of his bench. If he would have played this Colts defense over the Saints defense, he would have gotten a weekly high score. So that's how close he was to high score. And again, it's only a 7-point difference between the two. So huge shout out to Darion, who again goes to 2-0 in this league. Greg Mars wins, go 2-0. Lenny falls to 1-1. Lenny 112.48. Greg Mars 153.22 to go to 2-0. Looking at this matchup, Lenny had Dak Prescott give 7.48. He had Naheem Hines give him 3.2. A.J. Brown give him 7.3. Robbie Anderson only give him 6.8. Robbie Anderson was somebody that I wanted in a lot of leagues, and I got him in 0 leagues because I just thought he was going to have a great year. And then everything else on his team was, double digits, but nothing really crazy on his team. I mean, he nothing crazy at all, except for Cooper Kupp gave him a solid 38.8, and his kicker actually gave him -1. On his bench, nothing at all on his bench to really. James White possibly, but again, between Cook and Naheem Hines after the week he had, I get why he did the start that he made. So Lenny takes the loss to go to 1-1. Rodrigo, who I saw this past weekend, beats Brian Rosenthal. Rodrigo 166.64. Brian Rosenthal 102.36. Looking at Brian Rosenthal's team, he had Josh Allen give him a solid 20.6. He had Najee Harris give him 19.1. And then he had Gronk give him 19.9. I didn't believe in the Gronk. Clearly I was wrong. And then you have, on the other side, you have, on his bench, Henry Ruggs, 22.5, but that's really it. And then on the other side, you have Tom Brady and Aaron Jones go crazy. Tom Brady, 39.64. Aaron Jones, 41.5. He also had Julio Jones give him 18. Stephon Diggs give him 16. And he had DJ Moore give him 21.9. Looking at his bench, he had Zach Moss at 15.4. Sterling Shepard at 17.5. And he had Markel Hardman at 10.5. So huge win for Rodrigo to go to 1-1. Rookies and sophomores. Lloyd against his boy Nestor. I actually got introduced to Nestor by Lloyd, so that's the connection there. Bad Mother Tucker. Lloyd wins 145.2 to 96.72. I should call Child Protective Services on this. This was an ass whipping. I figured it would have been an ass whipping, but just turned into an ass whipping. Aaron Rodgers at 34 point. I mean, let's look at Nessa's team. Nessa, abort this plan, bro. Abort. Like, this is not abort. He had Jonathan Taylor give him 6.3. Clyde Edwards-Helaire give him 2.6. Those were his top 2 picks. Okay, 6.3, 2.6. Swift was defense at 11.8. Jamar Chase gave him 13.3. Darren Mooney gave him 12.6. His kicker gave him 17, so that was solid. I just heard we gave him 16.72. Nothing else on the way of his bench. Then moving over to Lloyd's team, you had Aaron Rodgers give him 34.8. Travis Kelce gave him 23.9. His defense gave him 18. Those 2 pick sixes was huge for Tampa Bay. But again, Lloyd's defense could have gave him -18. He still would have won over Nestor. And then looking at his bench, he does have Matthew Stafford on the bench at 21.2. And that is it by way of his bench. Then jumping over to my matchup, my ass whipping. Steve Jones beats me 142.22 to 127.98. Look at my shitty ass pathetic team. Alvin Kamara gave me 7. Kenny Galladay gave me 6.8. I hate Giants players in real life and in fantasy. Why the hell do I have Kenny Galladay? And then the Broncos defense gave me 9. The kicker gave me 5.0. And then on my bench, I did have Devin Singletary with 17.1. I did have J.D. McKissick on 20.3. I did have Tim Patrick, at 12.7, but I got the ass whipping. None of this would have made any sense. Would have made any difference. Going over to Jones's team, Teddy Bridgewater. I didn't see Teddy Bridgewater doing this, but he clearly did it against me. 25.2. Zeke gave him 17. Darrell Henderson gave him 17.2. Chris Carson gave him 15.1. Calvin Ridley gave him 19.3. Chris Godwin gave him 16.1. His defense gave him 10. His kicker gave him 10. Looking at his bench, he does have Tony Pollard on his bench at 23 points. He actually did me a favor. He didn't play Kirk Cousins, who added 31 on his bench. So thank you for not humiliating me in this matchup. So shout out to Jones, who gets the win and goes now to 1-1. Moving over to next week, it's interesting. I go against a very close friend of mine's. No, I go against Rodrigo next week. Sorry, I go against Rodrigo next week. Both teams are 1-1. Lloyd, who's 2-0, go against Brian, who's 1-1. Greg, who is 2-0, goes against Nestor, who's 0-2. Darian, who's 2-0, goes against Lenny, who's 1-1. You have Yuji, who's 0-2, goes against Jones, who's 1-1. Steven, who's 1-1, goes against Derek, who is 0-2. And that is the recap for week 2. So happy to get this week the fuck out of the way because it was a terrible week for me. If it was a terrible week for you, you feel the same way I feel. With that all being said, look forward to being right back here next week. Hopefully in a different headspace with a win. Hopefully. But see you guys next week.
Bitch, don't block your block, yo. Bitch, don't block your block, yo. Let's go flash, trip toe tag, coke drag, black boy trap, hot boy in action. Don't need caption, rock stand dash, neck break dance, blue miss, snipe game, super, show us all.